I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight. Like what time will it go till?
That's a different type of party though. No, it'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
The details of the jaw-dropping scandal involving Sean Diddy Combs have been making waves in the entertainment industry in recent times. Now JayZ has also found himself at the center of a courtroom storm. The judge involved has just dropped a bombshell ruling that could shake their careers and the industry itself. It's obvious that there is something deeper at play. Stay tuned as we reveal the astounding details behind this groundbreaking ruling. P. Diddy, the hip-hop mogul and the face behind Bad Boy Records, is currently locked up at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, and the charges are as dark as they come: racketeering, conspiracy, trafficking, and transportation for purposes of prostitution. Federal prosecutors accused him of orchestrating a chilling years-long scheme to exploit and abuse women in what they called elaborate substance-fueled freak-offs. And hold up, it gets worse. Allegedly, Diddy didn't just arrange these encounters, he directed and even recorded them. Yup, he's being painted as the mastermind behind these twisted setups involving women and male workers. And while all this sounds like something straight out of a dystopian thriller, it's real life, and the details that we are about to dive into are bone-chilling. The basics of the case against P. Diddy and JayZ. Diddy, who rose to fame in the golden era of 1990s hip-hop, is no stranger to the spotlight. But the very industry that catapulted him to stardom now finds him at the center of a disturbing legal storm. Federal prosecutors from New York's Southern District describe his alleged activities as a systematic exploitation of women for his personal pleasure and profit. And while Diddy's legal team was scrambling to fight for his release, the judge involved in this case wasn't buying it. He's been denied bail, leaving him to wait it out in one of Brooklyn's most infamous detention centers. Now, as if that wasn't explosive enough, here's where things go from shocking to absolutely wild. JayZ, also known as Sean Carter, the other heavyweight of 90s New York hip-hop, is also in the spotlight, but not for his chart-topping hits or billionaire business moves. These men have been accused of collaborations that extend beyond the musical scene. A federal lawsuit filed in New York accused both Diddy and JayZ of being involved in an incident that allegedly happened after the MTV Music Video Awards at Radio City Music Hall in 2000. The plaintiff, named Jane Doe, for now claims she was just 13 years old at the time of the assault. 13, that definitely can't be good. According to Jane Doe's lawsuit, she didn't even have a ticket to the awards show or the after party, but she was determined to get in. Like any starstruck teenager in 2000, she hung around outside hoping for a chance encounter with someone who could get her access, so she did what any determined teenager would do. She started approaching limousine drivers trying to find her way into the glitzy after-party scene. Now, one of these drivers, claiming to be in the employ of Diddy, gave her a look over and said, "You fit what Diddy's looking for." It was like being chosen for the VIP list without even asking. Driver swung by later to pick her up, and off they went to this exclusive after party. What began as a thrilling sense of uniqueness quickly spiraled into confusion, then twisted into a chilling mix of pain and fear. Upon arrival, she was handed a clipboard and asked to sign something she thought was your standard NDA. You know, the kind that keeps the party's wild secrets under wraps. In hindsight, she must have regretted that action, but I mean, how much willpower can a 13-year-old possibly have? The real twist came when she was offered a drink, a mysterious concoction of orange juice and cranberry with a bitter undertone that screamed mystery ingredient. She took a sip, and it wasn't long before she felt like she was on a different frequency altogether, woozy and out of sorts. Jane Doe, feeling the effects of the drink, wandered off to find a quiet spot to lie down, entering what she believed was an empty room. But plot twist, she didn't lock the door. Soon enough, the door swung open and in walked Diddy. According to the lawsuits, he looked at her, grabbed her, and with a voice that was too loud for the quiet room, he said, "You're ready to party." Before she could even process what was happening, JayZ was there, and her clothes began to go off. There are allegations that JayZ acted inappropriately towards her, with Diddy and an unnamed female celebrity watching, but when Diddy tried to force her into another act, she fought back. She hit him right in the neck and he stopped. She managed to grab her clothes, escape the room, and dash out to the nearest gas station. There, in the fluorescent light of a convenience store, she called her dad. At first, the lawsuit she filed in the Southern District of New York kept the identities of other people in the room a mystery, referring to them as Celebrity A and Celebrity B. The names were a secret, but as the case went on, it eventually came to light that Celebrity A was JayZ. The lawsuit claims that JayZ assaulted the 13-year-old Jane Doe that night. As the case unraveled, JayZ's fiery response set the stage for an explosive courtroom showdown. JayZ fires back, a showdown with the judge's ruling. JayZ has completely denied the allegations made against him, and he wasn't shy about his stance. In a statement to CNN, he fired back, calling the accusations so heinous that he urged the plaintiff to take the matter up with the criminal justice system, not through civil court. Whoever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away, he said, asking, "Would you not agree?" The intensity of his response made it clear he was not backing down. JayZ's legal team took immediate action, filing a motion to compel Jane Doe to reveal her identity or have the lawsuit dismissed altogether. It seemed like a bold move to force the plaintiff into the spotlight, but the judge refused. Instead, she sided with Jane Doe, granting her the right to remain anonymous for the time being. However, she didn't close the door entirely, noting that this decision might be revisited later on as the case continued to unfold. The judge took aim at JayZ's defense team, calling them out for their strategy. She described the constant barrage of motions and letters from JayZ's lawyers, attempting to smear the character of both the plaintiff and her lawyer as inappropriate and a waste of judicial resources. She made it clear that such tactics weren't doing any favors for JayZ and were unlikely to benefit him in the long run. JayZ's defense team had argued that it wasn't fair for him to have to defend himself against someone who remained in complete darkness, hiding behind anonymity while making such serious claims. They suggested that if Jane Doe's identity were revealed, witnesses could step forward to disprove the allegations, but the judge wasn't convinced, dismissing their approach as mere distractions rather than legitimate defenses. According to Jane Doe's lawyers, things took an even darker turn. They alleged that, in response to their request for mediation, JayZ had not only filed what they called a frivolous lawsuit, but also waged a campaign of intimidation and harassment. The accusation was serious. They claimed that JayZ had orchestrated a conspiracy to target Doe's lawyers, their families, employees, and even former associates in an attempt to scare the plaintiff into silence. This was more of a personal battle than it was a legal battle. The suit suggested that this whole effort was designed to discredit Jane Doe's legal team, to bully them into backing off. But despite the pressure, the plaintiff refused to be silenced. According to the lawsuit, it was actually this harassment campaign that pushed Jane Doe to file an amendment to her case. The allegations of intimidation had only strengthened her resolve to pursue justice. To JayZ, this was unfair treatment. In his heartfelt statement, he said his only heartbreak was for his family, especially his kids. "My wife and I will have to sit our children down," she said, one of whom is at the age where her friends will surely see the press and ask questions about the nature of these claims. He went on to explain how this experience would force them to confront the cruelty and greed of people, and he mourned the loss of innocence that his children particularly had to endure. "Children should not have to endure such at their young age," he added, expressing the pain of a father trying to protect his kids from the harsh realities of the world. Meanwhile, CNN reached out to Beyonce for comment, but no response came, leaving people to speculate on her stance. To add another layer of complexity to this issue, CNN reported in November that an anonymous male celebrity had filed a lawsuit against Tony Busby, the Texas attorney representing Jane Doe. The lawsuit accused Busby and his firm of attempting to extort a significant amount of money, threatening to publicly file wildly false, horrific allegations against the celebrity if he didn't comply with their demands. This unnamed celebrity's attorneys claimed that Busby and his team had even threatened to invent entirely fabricated, salacious allegations, including multiple instances of assault involving minors, both male and female. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? The idea that such serious accusations were being used as leverage in a supposed extortion scheme made the situation even more twisted. JayZ later took to CNN again, calling the mediation request a blackmail attempt, and even took a shot at Busby, claiming that he'd done some research and found a pattern of theatrics from the lawyer. It was clear that JayZ wasn't about to let this go quietly. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations, and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle, he said, and then went on to write to Busby, "I will not give you one red penny." Busby, however, quickly denied the extortion claims, taking to Instagram to defend both himself and his firm. In a post, he wrote that his firm would never allow the powerful and their high-dollar lawyers to intimidate or silence victims of assault. "I have confidence that with full public disclosure, all of this will sort itself out," Busby said, speaking to CNN via email. "The pleading speaks for itself," he said, adding, "This is a very serious matter that will be litigated in court." In response to JayZ's claims, Busby was adamant that the alleged victim had never sought a single penny from JayZ. Instead, the request had only been for confidential mediation. He made it clear that the only thing the victim wanted was a chance to settle the matter quietly, away from the public eye. I don't know how this case can be kept from the public eye, because it doesn't seem anywhere close to fading from the spotlight, especially with experts diving in to dissect Judge Torres's ruling. Everyone's got an opinion, and the drama just keeps getting more intense. Implications of the judge's ruling. In all of this legal drama, Judge Annalisa Torres has put her foot down, giving what legal experts are calling a bench slap to the aggressive tactics employed by JayZ's legal team. It seems it was Judge Torres's way of telling JayZ's lawyer, Alex Spiro, that his game plan needed a serious rethink. Criminal defense attorney Adam Kay dove into the judge's ruling, breaking it down like a true courtroom analyst. According to Adam, this was a clear win for Jane Doe, but for JayZ and Diddy's legal squad, not so much. He pointed out that Judge Torres was not playing around with her response. Her words were sharp, aimed directly at Spiro, who's known for his no-holds-barred style in the courtroom. JayZ's lawyer, Alex Spiro of Quinn Emanuel, went too far, former federal prosecutor Niyama Rahamani told Fox News Digital, breaking down the situation like a veteran coach. Filing motion after motion, attacking the alleged victim and her attorney, Tony Busby, was like playing dirty in the last quarter. Rahmani labeled this judicial scolding as a bench slap. When a judge publicly chastises a lawyer like that, it is embarrassing professionally and sends a message that bare-knuckle litigation tactics won't be tolerated simply because you're at a white shoe firm and representing a rich and powerful celebrity. Spiro is going to have to recalibrate his approach and take a more nuanced, professional tone in his court filings. Rahmani added. Adam also highlighted Spiro's tactic of controlling the narrative through preemptive press conferences, but Judge Torres wasn't having it. She's clearly not a fan of this hype strategy. Adam noted, likening it to trying to win a game with too much trash talk rather than playing the ball. The judge's ruling was like a personal message to Spiro, essentially saying, "Cut it out or I'll make the legal process as smooth as walking on a bed of nails." The second half of her motion was particularly spicy, calling out Spiro's approach as if she were the referee blowing the whistle on an unfair play. Now, if Spiro decides to keep up this barrage of motions and media stunts, what could Judge Torres do? In the federal court system, judges wield significant power. They can make life incredibly tough for attorneys by imposing sanctions, delaying proceedings, or even striking motions, but there's only so much they can do, especially against someone like Spiro, who's backed by a powerhouse law firm. This isn't just about legal strategy, it's about respect, the kind of respect you show in court, not on the street. Judges in federal court demand a certain decorum, and when that's not met, they have ways to remind you. But at the end of the day, even with all their power, they're bound by rules just like everyone else in the courtroom. So while this ruling might not change the game entirely, it's definitely a halftime pep talk for Spiro to rethink his strategy if he wants to make it to the end of this legal match without further fouls. The court will not fast track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it. Judge Torres said, according to Orange County defense attorney Lauren Johnson Norris, this kind of courtroom behavior doesn't fly, especially in federal court where professionalism is non-negotiable. Court pleadings are no place for inflammatory language, she said. Repeated filings and outright demands aren't just frowned upon, they're counterproductive. Johnson Norris speculated that Spiro's moves might have been at the request of his client, JayZ, but she pointed out that a good lawyer knows when to draw the line. Managing a celebrity client is tricky, but this approach might end up hurting the client more than helping, she added. Former federal prosecutor Niyama Rahamani weighed in, explaining that while some states automatically allow victims of assault to remain anonymous, federal rules don't. The judge has to balance the plaintiff victim's privacy interests with the defendant's and the public's interest in disclosure. Practically, some victims may not want to identify themselves in a very public lawsuit, so Diddy and JayZ's lawyers have tried to out the victims to discourage them and others who haven't filed from moving forward. This is part and parcel of the defense's very aggressive strategy in attacking these allegations and the adage that the best defense is a good offense. Analyzing the case further, high-profile Los Angeles litigator John J. Perlstein explained that assault cases involving a minor are particularly sensitive, especially when they involve celebrities. These cases are deeply personal and emotionally taxing, what he said. Given the plaintiff's PTSD and depression, the judge's decision to protect her anonymity is about minimizing further harm. But here's the catch. Pearlstein also admitted that anonymity is temporary. At some point, the defense will need to know who Jane Doe is to properly prepare for trial, that the need for information during discovery will eventually outweigh her privacy, he explained. The disclosure of her identity is inevitable. For now, though, Judge Torres is walking a tightrope, trying to balance Jane Doe's mental health and privacy with the legal process. In her ruling, she essentially said, "Your name stays Jane Doe for now, but I might change my mind later." This begs the question, when? If her identity is revealed, it won't just be a court document, it'll be a headline, a hashtag, and a viral moment. The media frenzy, social media backlash, and relentless scrutiny from the defense could overwhelm her. The timeline for this revelation is still unclear, but it's safe to say the stakes couldn't be higher. And let's not forget, Celebrity B is still a mystery. Who could it be? Tony Busby is hinting and accusing those he believes are involved in the Diddy scandal. Additional lawsuits and Tony Busby's involvement. Tony Busby, the fiery attorney at the center of the controversy against Sean Diddy Combs, is currently representing a staggering 120 alleged victims. Busby made it clear in a recent press conference that this battle is far from over. If anything, it's just heating up. He dropped bombshell after bombshell, revealing his team had painstakingly reviewed abuse accusations from 3,285 individuals. His findings were disturbing patterns of alleged misconduct that point not just to Diddy, but to an entire web of so-called enablers. The day will come when we will name names other than Sean Combs, Busby said. And trust me, it's a long list already, but because of the sensitive nature of this case, we're going to make damn sure we're right before we go public, but the names we're talking about, they'll absolutely shock you. According to Busby, the alleged incident spanned an unsettling array of locations: hotels, private homes, and lavish parties. Think 4th of July bashes, glitzy New Year's Eve soirees, album release celebrations, and those notorious after parties that everyone wanted an invite to. He painted a chilling picture of aspiring artists lured in with promises of fame and stardom. They were told, "We'll make you a star," he said, but instead they were subjected to things so horrific that they now want nothing to do with the entertainment industry ever again. As for the so-called enablers, the people who allegedly turned a blind eye or played a role in covering up these crimes, Busby had a message for them. "You can't hide skeletons in the closet forever," he said. He suggested that some of these individuals are likely scrambling at this very moment, deleting texts and wiping digital trails. Diddy and JayZ have firmly denied all the allegations. But what do you think will happen if Jane Doe's true identity finally comes to light? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Please like, share, and don't forget to subscribe. For more content like this, click on the next video on your screen.